Alright, good morning guys. Just want to go through this real quickly before your test. So, I went through questions 1 through 5 on the review worksheet. The first one is a small sample test of mean. So we want to test the meal cost of a family being $124. We want to know, is it that? So is just means it's equal to, so it's a two-tailed test. So we say equal to 124, alternative would that not be equal to 124. Again, I just spell it out. So degrees of freedom is 10 because our sample size is 11. So 11 minus 1 is 10. Divide by 2, so our alpha value is 0.025. And we get 2.28, negative 2.228. There we go. We subtract and get here. So subtract, this is our sample average minus population standard deviation divided by the square root of our sample size. We do not reject. This value is not larger than that, so we do not reject. So therefore, the data does support that the meal cost is $124. Question number 2 is the one I want to go through. On number 2, when you go through it, is they want to know, does it take 30 minutes to park? You know, the person says it doesn't. So we can say we're just going to test see if it equals 30 minutes to park. Alternative is that it doesn't. I want to show you this, degrees of freedom. So again, our degrees of freedom is should be 4 because our sample size is 5. So when you get that, you divide our alpha value by 2. But we can't do anything more because they don't give us a standard deviation. So that was a mess up. That problem didn't have what we need to solve. Then you go on. So those are small sample, test of means. Then question number 3 is a test of variance. So it says, is the variance of a tire is 8.6. So again, is means equal. So we set it up, it equals 8.6. It doesn't equal 8.6. One thing you need to pay attention on this is variance. It's not standard deviation. If they gave us a standard deviation, we need to square that value. They don't. This table is different. This is our chi-square table. Is the other thing. So we do our degrees of freedom. So 10 minus 1 is 9. Take our alpha value divided by 2. So it gives us 0.005. So on this side it's 0.995. So 1 minus that is 0.995. If you do it on this side, it's 0.005. Actually, the table doesn't go all the way over there. So I just went up, I actually took it at 0.001, I believe, or 0.01 is what it has. So I just rounded for that one. I took the one closest to it. Regardless, I go through and I subtract, so I do my value. Again, if this were a standard deviation, I'd square 4.3, I'd square 8.6. It gives us as the variance, so we don't square it. It gives us 4.5, which is not smaller than that, not greater than that, so we do not reject. So once again, it supports our claim that the variance of a tire is 8.6. The last two, so that's a variance test. The first 2 were small samples. The last 2 right there, those are a proportion, test of proportion. So it does just as likely to move up as it is to move down. That means it's 50-50. It could go up, it could go down. So we'd say our proportion equals 50% or 0.50, or it does not equal 50% or 0.5. Take our alpha value divided by 2. This is a z-score. So on the bottom of that t-score, all the way on the bottom, we go down to where we see z-scores on that bottom row. So go to your z-score, you get 1.645 and negative 1.645. We subtract it and get 1.33. 1.33 is not greater than that value, so we do not reject. So again, it supports this claim here, that it's just as likely to move up as it is to move down. The last one is, if more than 3% suffer side effects, then they're going to put a stronger warning label on it. So we're going to test the opposite and say, assume the opposite, that's less than 3%. Then our sample comes back at less than 3%. So we could say 3% or 0.03. It's a one-tailed test, so we're just testing. Now our sample proportion is 23 out of 440 sampled suffered adverse side effects. So this is going to be an upper tail test. Our sample average is 0.05. So we're just testing the upper average, 1.645. So we go ahead, same thing. Here's our sample statistic, 3.6. 3.6 compared to this, so we would reject. So what that means is there is a significant difference, so therefore they should put a stronger warning label on the, I believe it's ibuprofen. So just wanted to go through those ones. Guys, you on your test today, and I'll write in the notes, but on your test, you may use the notes. So you can write down the notes of your sample variance, your proportion, the equation for the proportion, and the equation for the proportion, small sample. So you may have those, so the equation for the variance, small sample, and your proportion.